Wolves 2, Manchester City 1. A Diaz own goal in the 13th minute that was pretty much wholly created by our good friend Pedro Neto in the 13th gave Wolves a lead. Julian Alvarez scored on a dead ball in the 58th minute to tie it up, but the Wolves were persistent, and Wang Hee-Chang, Huang, just Huang. Damn, I'm as bad as Pep. Huang.
Worse.
That was pretty bad. Should I redo that? I need to edit that out, actually. I didn't mean to do that.
Boo, boo. That's fine.
I'm just going to call him Huang. Huang had a goal in the 66th to give Wolves the lead, a lead that they would not give up. Dylan, I'm going to let you have the runway, do your dance, whatever you want to do. But the one thing I will say, I did mention this earlier, not very nice of you guys, because I did go on someone else's pod and basically say, like, everyone should put their support behind Wolves because we don't want them to get relegated and we don't want Dylan to have to start a championship podcast. So
promises made,
tough.
Promises delivered. I'm gonna reverse Uno card you. Talk nice to me. Like let's hear you talk about it, please, and then I can fill in the
You want me to talk about it?
Yeah, talk nice.
So I'm not an alarmist. I think that we've won 3 of the last 5 Premier League titles, not being in first place most of the year, so I'm not too worried about it. I want to give you guys a lot of credit. Like, Dawson and Kilman played as good of a combo defense in the back against Holland than anyone ever has in the Premier League. I think that's going to be key. Who's played better, Michael?
Joe Gomez and Konate have had him in his pocket before.
Yeah?
Yeah. I actually think Gomez had like an 8.2 rating in the 1-0 last year.
Well, FOTMob doesn't like Craig Dawson because he should have had a 9.9.
FOTMob doesn't like Pedro Neto. He has a 6.6. That's atrocious.
You got a yellow.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Doesn't matter.
True.
Doesn't matter.
And he didn't get the goal. So, but anyway.
He made the goal.
Can we stay focused on the task at hand? Can we let John rain compliments on Dylan, please?
No. Michael's still like obsessed with this Liverpool City era where they won 1 and we won 4. Dawson and Kilman did an amazing job. I thought the back line was incredible. Cunha was so annoying. I was literally getting really frustrated watching this guy because he did positive stuff, but then as soon as he did something positive for you guys, it was just on the floor begging for like a foul, and I was like, whatever. Huang's amazing. He had a great game, and I think the thing that is crazy is like we've talked about it all season. You're like, we do have pieces. When we had the podcast with Alex, you guys talked about it constantly. Like, there are decent pieces here. Like, if it finally showed up. And the game plan was great. I actually was sitting there at half being like, I'm glad Gary O'Neill's their coach because he can't figure it out in the second half, and he did more than figure out. I think he won it for him. My other 2 thoughts are, like, Rodri is now more important than KDB, and I think that's been that way for a little bit, and the longer he's not on the field, we're going to struggle with some games. Pep can't keep not being on the sideline, too.
He was coaching. There's an ear pod in his hand. He was clearly talking.
None of you
Yellow
guys
cards.
answered my... Oh, okay, because you didn't answer my question, so...
My bad. Too many yellow cards. And Dylan, you're right. He definitely is, but, like, he's not in at halftime. I don't know. Like, he's just got to be there. That's fucking stupid. The only complaint I do have, which is a legitimate complaint, and I know I shouted them out earlier, 6 minutes of stoppage time is bullshit. I wasn't joking. Cunha was on the ground begging for 8 different calls, and each of those took at least 30 seconds. Plus, there's a goal. It was bullshit. That's the only complaint I have. Other than that, you guys beat us, and you were the better team.
Very nice of you to say.
Yeah.
I'm happy we got that out of our system. I also appreciate that you are probably the first person to actually talk about what the Wolves did well and not about how much City sucked and didn't play normal, like, City soccer. So, good on you for that.
I actually, like, before I let you go, I don't think that's the case. Like, I actually think you guys played better than we did. Like, I don't know why people are saying that. Like,
because you're a Big Six club, no one likes to talk about us. Like, that's just how it goes.
That for sure. But like, there wasn't. I can't really sit there and point at anything that we did that terribly. I think that we got bad chances. Like, we had so many shots, but our XG was only 0.8. That's a sign. Like, we're not getting quality chances. And I think that was because your defense played so well. If you had to pinpoint something we did wrong, it's the midfield. Like, the midfield was just a mess, and it was because of Rodri. Like,
you also started Matheus Nunes. That was a poor choice.
1,000%. 1,000%.
Because, like, if I'm really going to look at this, one, starting him was your first mistake, and not because, like, he played abysmal. It brought the crowd immediately into the game, though. Like, basically, for something like with the booing and all that, and I think that gave a spark early on to us. That was something that, especially with how the game kind of started, and if Dawson doesn't get that ball away from Haaland coming across, like, we have an issue to begin right there. So, like, I think first off, that was mistake number one. And then, two, when you were talking about you expected at halftime Gary O'Neil to not make adjustments, I don't know if, other than, like, he made the perfectly right sub at the right time at halftime, but I think the difference between the Liverpool game and what happened with you guys is that your goal didn't come in the run of play, and I think that gave belief that how we were set up and the way we were doing, like, a little one-on-one marking against Haaland. And, you know, someone who you didn't hear us said the whole entire podcast is Foden either, because you forgot Toady completely put him in his pocket, is the fact that I think that confidence started to build to be like, hey, that goal came because of a stupid penalty or foul, and we can do this. The other part is exactly what you said. Rodri not being there is extremely crucial for you guys because we were able to, I think, get on the counter a lot more and control the ball, and it brought you guys completely back to where then, like, you couldn't do anything to Haaland that you normally would in that case. And outside of that, like, you can say Cunha is annoying or whatever. He might be the best striker who doesn't score, but he's, like, still holding up play and doing everything that, like, his like, work ethic and efficiency on the field is exactly what we need. And, like, the moment he does score a goal, I'm hoping it leads to something. But, like, right now with what Hwang and Neto are doing, like, if he can keep just being a menace around up top, and maybe, I don't know, at some point him and Fabio figure it out and he plays a 10 role or something like that, who knows, like, that's what we need right now, and allows us to play 5 at the back, which I think was way more of a unified front for us with where we've been a little shaky. And ultimately, like, this game went exactly how it played when we played the other side of Manchester, where we were running all over the field and we kept it completely up. So at this point, Manchester's orange, so get used to it.
Yeah, I think that the O'Neil comment I had wasn't necessarily that he made adjustments. I think it's that he didn't. He had the game plan that was going to win it, and, like, you know, he kept with it.
And that's actually one last point, and then I know we can go to Michael, is two things. I will now be negative, and in terms of things that I'm scared of, is one, I think you guys play, and we've talked about this, kind of the same way all the time for the most part. Like, you know how you're going to set up and, like, what you're going to do, and I think that plays into what Gary O'Neil did, which scares me for when we're playing teams that are lesser than a City, like a Crystal Palace or Fulham or something like that, that are going to change the tactics based off of who they're playing, which then could throw him for a loop. So I'm hoping he can figure that out, but something that I'm worried about moving forward. And the second part is we clearly play up to our competition. I'm scared we're about to beat Robin Hood from 3 years ago again and keep stealing from the rich to give to the poor. And we don't need that to happen because then we're going to be in this relegation battle. So hopefully we can continue off of the momentum that we stole.